Good afternoon, dear children. So let us start or let us continue with the chapter of Ashoka, the messenger of peace. Okay. So now we had seen in our previous class that how Ashoka, who was a great king, he was a great warrior. He fought a battle, and when he, after fighting the battle, he wanted to conquer the kingdom, the prosperous kingdom of Kalinga. But after he conquered the prosperous kingdom of Kalinga, then he saw that there was lot of bloodshed, lot of loss of life, whether the human beings or the animals or the trees. So he did not like it. So that disheartened him, and he promised that he would never ever create any bloodshed. And so he started working towards the progress of the human beings or his subjects for a peaceful kingdom that he wanted to create. He also embraced the religion of Buddhism, and then he was a true follower of Buddhism as well. He tried to spread peace and harmony wherever he went, not only in his kingdom but wherever he went. And so then we had read yesterday that he had an edict engraved there. In that edict, it seemed as though the king himself had said those words. So that is what it is believed. King was the Devanampiya, that was the beloved of gods, and so he had written a message or conveyed a message to the people that he had done some mistakes in his life, and he is asking God to forgive him for those mistakes, because he is ready to repent those mistakes or ready to rectify his mistakes and become a refined human being who would love to work for the peace and harmony for his people. So let us continue from here. For the rest of his reign means here rule, okay, Ashoka dedicated his personal energy and vast resources of the empire towards achieving two aims. So he started working towards achieving two aims in his life. So that is the two goal. The first was to give up war and every form of violence and live in a spirit of peace and friendship with his neighbors. So he wanted to, the first one was that he wanted to give up war and live in peace and harmony with his neighboring kingdoms. The second was to spread the word of Dhamma among the people, encouraging a life of non-injury, self-control, equable conduct and gentleness. So what is this Dhamma? Dhamma is the process of having a life which is not giving any injury to others, having control over oneself, that is self-control, equable conduct, that means a good behavior, good and just behavior that he is supposed to do with others, and gentleness should be there in his manners. So that is Dhamma. So these two promises he had taken, or these two were his goals. The first one, to give up violence and create friendship. The second one was to spread Dhamma among the people. He believed in conquest through Dhamma. So he wanted to conquer the people not through violence but with love. So that is what he wanted to do. He conquered the people, tried to refine their life, change their life into a good one by conquering their hearts, not their bodies. And this way slowly he conquered the hearts of the people, and that finally he conquered the hearts of gods. He believed in conquest through Dhamma. After Kalinga, Ashoka never fought another war. Ashoka made a passionate appeal for tolerance among all religions. So, passionate means he was fully devoted to have a good feeling among the different religions. He did not want to create any antagonism among the people. So he created a good feeling among all the people of different religions. He also extolled the virtues of non-violence. So the virtues means the good qualities. Extol means he expressed the good qualities of non-violence. So violence did not have any importance in his life anymore. For him, all life was sacred and war was evil. All life was sacred means even the life of the animals, plants, everything was sacred, very important. And war was no more important in his life. Earlier, war was the most important thing because conquering kingdoms was his target. But after the Kalinga war, he started conquering hearts. He did not want to conquer any kingdom. He discouraged animal fights and the killing of animals. So you must have seen that people enjoy having the animal fights, and that way they even collect money. So he did not like these all. And so he never encouraged anyone to create any animal fight. Now, instead of military expeditions, he sent out peace missions to spread love, respect, equality and charity among the people of the world. So earlier he used to send his army of people, that is soldiers, to various other kingdoms to conquer them. Those were the expeditions what these soldiers had to take. They were tired. They used to get tired after a fight in various kingdoms, but still they had to go, as King Ashoka loved to conquer kingdoms. But now he is sending the people as messenger of peace to, means his people only he is sending to different kingdoms as messenger of peace. And so he wanted to spread love, respect, equality and charity among the people of the world. The war drums, bheri ghoshas, was silenced. So that means in earlier times when there were a declaration of war, messengers used to beat the drums to declare that yes, now war is being waged between so and so kingdom. So those drums, those big huge drums, which is known as bheri ghoshas, was silenced, means they were not beaten to spread the news of violence. Rather, they were beaten, the drums were beaten to gather the people for Dhamma. So the drums of Dhamma now echoed across the land. So that means he was only sending messages of peace and love, that is Dhamma, among the people through by beating those drums. Peace and universal brotherhood became the ideal of this king. So now the most important message that he was sending to the people was peace and universal brotherhood, means all are brothers and sisters. So there should not be any fight. Peace and universal brotherhood became the ideal of this king over 2000 years ago. Jawaharlal Nehru, in the glimpses of world history, puts it this way. So Jawaharlal Nehru, in his book The Glimpses of World History, he has written in that the whole of history is full of religious persecution and religious war, and in the name of religion and of God, perhaps more blood has been shed than in any other name. So here Nehru says that in the name of religious persecution or religious wars were held. Okay. So there were many wars in earlier times, and in that, in the name of religion and of God, more of bloodshed had been there in the name of religion only. But after Ashoka realized this, he never had waged any war. It is good therefore to remember how a great son of India intensely. So who has been referred to as the great son of India? Ashoka the Great. Intensely religious. So now Ashoka became very religious. That means he used to follow the religion of Buddhism. But he was also tolerant to other religions. And the head of a powerful empire. Yes, Ashoka was the head of a powerful empire, that was Kalinga. Behaved, or the Mauryan Empire. Behaved in order to convert people to his ways of thought. So he started to convert the people into good thought. It is strange that anyone should be so foolish as to think that religion and faith can be thrust down a person's throat at the point of the sword or a bayonet. So Nehru says that it is very strange that no one can force you to accept any religion. Okay. So it is strange that anyone should be so foolish as to think that religion and faith can be thrust. Thrust means pushed down a person's throat at the point of the sword or bayonet. So in the point of a gun or a sword, no one is supposed to force anyone to accept any religion. So Ashoka sent his messengers and ambassadors to the kingdoms in Asia, Europe and Africa. So here Ashoka, he tried to spread this religion of Buddhism by sending the messengers of peace or the ambassadors to the kingdoms in Asia, Europe and Africa. As one of his edicts say, all sects deserve reverence for one reason or another. So here in the edicts of Ashoka, it is written all sects. Sects means here all different religions. Okay. Deserve reverence. Reverence means respect for one reason or another. Yes, we must respect each and every religion as well as each and every human being. By thus acting, a man exiles his own sect. And so when we show respect to other religions or to the other people, we are actually showing our own religious behavior. So that means my religion advises me to respect the other religion or to respect the other people. So a man exiles his own sect. So that means a man is actually taking his own religion or his own sect to a higher level by showing respect to the other religion. At the same time does service to the sects of other people. So at the same time, the man is also serving the people of his own religion. In today's world, his message of love and universal togetherness is very important and relevant. So the message which Ashoka had given years and years ago, so that message is very relevant now, very important now. We have to realize that what he tried to say, which is very much required in the modern society. In today's world, his message of love and universal togetherness is very important and relevant. Relevant means very much required. But sadly, even now people have not learned the value of what Ashoka preached. That is true. Even now people fight over religion. So that is not good. Though Ashoka had taught us long back, we must all realize to accept that what he has taught, he understood that the result of this is it's not a good one. And so he wanted his people to understand because of his mistakes. He had not understood at that time, but he wanted his people not to suffer as he had suffered. So this is a very important chapter which actually advises us in this modern society of lot of competition, of showing violence for others. So we must realize that violence leads us nowhere. Rather, we should all live in harmony and peacefully and have a healthy surrounding around us. I hope children you have understood. So please read the chapter thoroughly and I'm sure you will be able to understand what has been explained here. Okay. So thank you and have a wonderful day.